Whisper, he's flying! Yes! There's history!
Now in front, the crowd roaring, go, Longrow, go, but the 3-year-old's in front, Delsayo, Longrow, he's coming, he's going to get there, yes, Longrow won it! Proud by Whisper, my Whisper won the last.
Welcome, punters, to another episode of the Whispers Racing Podcast. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
Going well, Warren. How are you, mate?
Good. I'm just trying to figure what we call this day, but we'll just call it Sandown and Randwick. There's no special meaning to them. Don't know, but it's thrown me what to call this podcast, but we'll just run with it. The Sandown and Randwick meeting. We will preview races 4 and 9 from Sandown. I will, and Matty is going to preview race 5 at Randwick. Also, we'll have our multi. We'll have our pineapple of the week. Stay tuned for that. I think this is a new area we're going to. So, Matty, I'm looking forward to seeing where you take us with that.
Thank you, mate. Yes, it wouldn't have been bad to have the pineapple last week, but appreciate you passing on this week.
I always like to pass on. I'm a sharing kind of guy. I just pick the right ones to lose on and give you the best meetings to choose from.
Thank you, mate.
Talking points. We got 3 this week. Might as well start off with how good are the fields in Sydney? I think they're just giving us a sniff early of what the autumn's going to be, with Salcombe first up, Half Cabin being first up. And then next week we had the Sandown for the CFL Stakes and the 2-year-old Preludes kicking off. So a better picture of the autumn. Thoughts, Matty?
Mate, there's going to be a number of horses resuming that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. You mentioned Salcombe, Osipenko, Mexico in race 1. Aravine, who won the Queensland Oaks last start. So there's going to be a number of horses that I'll be keeping an eye on. And look, it doesn't necessarily make for sensational betting because this clearly isn't their grand final. They're coming back for a run. So it makes it slightly difficult on the punts, but we'll navigate that.
Yeah, I think you sum it up well there. You can really do some damage if you don't be sensible or pick the right ones to launch in, which we spoke about last week. But no, you make some good points. It's probably a watch and learn, but knowing us too, we will dive into a few of them and find plenty of winners. I see Tommy Marquand comes back to Australia, especially in Sydney, for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Great addition to the jockey ranks up there, considering Bowman's gone. I see he's down to ride Zoo Tiger up against J-Mac and Half Cabin. That'd be a nice race to get the popcorn out and ready to watch.
Absolutely, mate. I don't know a whole lot about Tommy. Fill us in.
He rode... I reckon he rode down here for most autumns. He'd come down for a 6 to 8 week stint and just absolutely... We renamed him Aussie Tom.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, so I think he was riding the International. It was coming down all the time. It's crossed my mind. But, yeah, great addition. He's gonna ride some winners, especially with Huey now fully relocating to Hong Kong. So
is Tommy associated with anyone? I see he's riding for John O'Shea.
No, I just think he'll be just riding everywhere and anywhere. Probably not with Waller, because Waller's got his little queue of jockeys that he likes to use. But yeah, Aussie Tom and Brett Preble now up there, so their ranks are starting to get a little bit stronger.
Indeed, yes. No, you can't just have the 2 or 3 that you follow up there anymore. But I think it's good for the racing in Sydney. Yep,
100%. It'd be interesting to see how he goes. I'm not questioning that he won't go well, but it'd be interesting to see how he kicks off in Sydney this week, especially on Zoo Tiger, on a favourite. So it'd be interesting. I was reading an article, especially moving to Hong Kong, Golden 60, what a race that was. Some saying race of the ages for Hong Kong, and Racing Victoria are daring to dream in Golden 60 running in the All-Star Mile. I know I'm not a fan of the race. I'm a big no-no for the race, the C-grade mile, I like to call it. But I tell you what, I would be absolutely stoked if they could get this horse to run in the All-Star Mile. I would go on track. It would get me there. You know what or why racing Vic? Oh, sorry. Why wouldn't Racing Vic dive into their pockets and pay this horse to come out, pay for the flights, pay for everything, pay an appearance fee for this horse? I'd say I'd pay it $250,000 to come out. Matty, would that get you to the races to go see?
Golden 60, I think it'd be sensational to see it here in Australia. And look, that's what racing in Australia does need. It needs some of these internationals coming down. And fingers crossed it's the right time of year to get a few down here. And Golden 60, at the moment, you couldn't get a better horse.
100%. Best miler probably in the world at the moment. Would you be happy for Racing Victoria to fork out, let's say, 125 to 250,000?
Look, I mean, end of the day, he would be one of the top 1,600 meter horses in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they would get that money back.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd probably end up doubling it or tripling it. So yeah, I think it would be quite a good investment.
Yeah, even if they don't get it back, I'm happy to use that money to get horses out here that will get bums on seats. Now they're trying to move races, and I know people are against it, people aren't, but maybe just putting appearance fees for horses, I wouldn't have a problem with this. It definitely get me on track. I'd love to see Golden 60 run. It opens the door for Hong Kong people to bet into this race because Golden 60's out here. So there's a pool that you're buying into in the wagering. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I would love to see it. I know we're dreaming, but you never know.
They ought to go around the valley.
Yeah, and the other way. Yeah, that's the... Yeah, look, it's the $1 million question. Yeah, I think it'd be all right. It'd be all right. Okay. It sat on speed last start to win, and if it can do that around the valley, I couldn't see it being a problem.
Interesting one. We'll follow that one. Look, there's a lot of activity at the moment with Racing Victoria, which is nice to see. It'll be interesting to see where their strategy lands.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if they can get this across, they'll be ticking the right boxes. Track starts this week. We've got 2 tracks. Obviously, Matty's going to preview race 5 in Sydney, so we'll start with there. Rail out 8 metres from the 1,600 to the winning post. In saying that, I feel it will favour the leaders. Speed maps would be very, very important, so keep an eye on it. But, yeah, I think leaders on rail will be very, very hard to beat. Sandown is rail out 3 metres. The track should play very, very even, and the horses should be winning from anywhere. It'll all come down to tempo. There's a bit of rain around today, which is Thursday, and tomorrow, Friday, and early Saturday morning. I reckon we could be on a soft 6 to 7, but please watch and act. Don't dive in until we get an official track rating when this rain stops, because you could really do some dough if you don't. No thoughts, Matty?
No, I'll definitely be waiting and watching like I generally do. I don't usually dive in on a Wednesday or Thursday night anyway. No,
that's he's very smart. Trial trackers this week. I've found one here and I'm confident here. Race 6, number 11, Fujito Sand. Ran in the Caulfield Guineas, nice Caulfield Guineas runner. I know I don't want to be finding any horses out of that Caulfield Guineas, but I think this horse hasn't had much luck. It went to the Derby and was just an absolute shocking ride, but he's come back really well here. He's had 1 jump out at Flemington over the 800 metres, and I thought he went really well and feel it's come back better. The action looks really good and strong, and I feel it could have gone a lot quicker. Normally like horses having 2 jump outs, but this one and only jump out was good enough for me. Track conditions shouldn't be an issue being by Maurice. If you're a previous listener to this podcast, you know my thoughts on wet tracks and Maurice horses. I know this horse is a 3-year-old against the older horses on Saturday, but 3-year-olds have been going super against the older horses. So that is race 6, number 11 for Gito San. You'll see the replay. I'll chuck it up on the podcast if you're watching via YouTube. I might as well kick things off here with race 4 at Sandown. The 3-year-old fillies, benchmark 78 over 1,300 meters. Odds, we're going with top odds on all horses here. We've got the favourite, Benedetta, $2.40. Belmire, $3.90. Colorado Cruise is around the $10 mark. Discerning, $11. Elegant Diva, $11. Field of Phrase, $11, and $16 plus the rest. One thing I noticed, and you'll see the speed maps down below on each of the races we preview. On paper, it says it's a benchmark 78. This is basically a benchmark 64, with your top rater being 67 and the others being around the 63. So don't get sucked in that it's a benchmark 78. Treat this like a 64 race. As you can see on the speed map, Valancourt should be lead, and I feel Discerning will come across with it and sit outside the leader. And Colorado Cruise, Field of Phrase, and Elegant Diva sitting in the box seats. In saying that, I'm very keen to be with number 1 here, Benedetta here. I've been really impressed with her maiden win, class above, last start in a benchmark 64 on a very fast tempo, won easily again. I feel this field is a little bit harder, but she should have these covered. Barrier 10, I don't mind, because this horse will be midfield, near the rear, out of trouble. That's the key, out of trouble now. Just hope it has a bum to follow when they're straightening up, and then it's a big, long straight at the hillside. It can just go through its gears, and I think it'll be just pretty hard to beat on its runs, and I think it's a way better horse than benchmark 64. One horse I'm keen to take on here, and you can go and hit the Betfair or the pink on the lay, is number 5, Belmire. This horse generally walks out of the barriers, and they have to be near the rear. They've been near the rear all 3 starts. I know last start before the spell, it reads 2.2 in listed race, but it was a genuine benchmark 58 race with horses that I've never ever heard of and have done nothing since. Plus, this horse first up without a jump out or trial vision, I never want to get involved in without seeing them. So I can't be getting involved at around the $3.90 mark. We have a clear fitness edge on this horse too. So $3.90, no thanks. If you like it, I won't talk you out of it, but wait, because I reckon it drifts to 6s come race time. I can't talk about any other horse because I don't think there's any other dangers than Benedetta winning. Matty.
I just don't look at Field of Praise, which won last start and beat Colorado Cuz.
Yep.
Colorado Cuz starting $6.50. Field of Praise starting $7.
Yep.
Now you're getting $10 Colorado Cuz.
Yep.
And Field of Praise, still getting $11.
Yep.
Anything out of that race?
No, it was a pretty bunch finish. There was a couple of the winner and the third horse, which you're talking about, Field of Phrase and Colorado Cruise, they just got it perfectly ridden. They were really good. Laura Lafferty rode her to treat the winner, just did everything right to get that victory. So, yeah, found the rail. And then, yeah, Daniel Moore, well, he just followed everywhere Field of Phrase went. So it was an okay ride as well. Out of that race, you had Little Miss Kubi, who we mentioned last week, was had to put in a real big 200-meter split to get to him. And the second horse out of that race, Unusual Culture, who runs later on in the program, also put in a big 200-meter split to get close to them. So I think they were quite gifted, Field of Phrase and Colorado Cruise. No knock, but they're just hard to get involved off that sort of run.
No, fair enough. Obviously, 2 leading stables. And if Benedetta was to get beat, and as you said, you didn't like Belmire, I think there is a bit of value in the race, but I can definitely see how you've landed on Benedetta.
Yeah, if you're a each way punter and you don't like Benedetta, don't want to take the favourite, and you going to agree with me and take Belmia. There is some good. There's $2 the field after that for the place on the others. So definitely have an each way ticket if you like something in that race and you don't agree with my thoughts. But yeah, I think Benedetta is a serious horse, and $2.40 won't be lasting long come Saturday. Matty, you want to preview race 5, the benchmark 78 over 1,300 in Royal Randwick?
Yeah, I did, mate. Look, observations in this race. Not many of these horses have got any benchmark. So we are looking at a fairly average benchmark. What are we, 78? Yeah, fairly average benchmark 78. But we will be going through them because I think we may have found a bit of value. But before we do that, can we just go through some odds?
Yeah, we can. Top odds. We've got the favourite here, pretty wild, 360 with Tab. Rupertar, double accepted for this. And the last race, I think, $6 top odds. Aravine, $6. Super Bright, not me, $7. Number 8, Sonora, $7. 10, and again, $9.50. And you can have $13 plus the rest.
Very good. Thank you, mate. Look, speed-wise, I think Rupertar will probably find, or from the inside, it will probably be the one that goes to the lead early. Sonara out wide and Lost Up, I think, will come across as well. So they're going to be where the speed is within this 1,300-metre race. But as I mentioned at the start, these horses are resuming, like Aravine. They're going to be ones that I expect to be running on after being towards the back of the field. Where you mentioned roll out 8 metres from the 1,600-metre mark. I don't necessarily think that being at the back is going to be the place to be. So Aravine won't be suited here. And for that reason, look, from a class point of view, you've got to have it in the top 4 selections, but I won't be putting any money on Aravine. I think it's going to be one that you do pop into the portfolio moving forward, though. I expect it to be having a decent campaign. Pretty wild. Favourite in this race, Worm, at around about that 350. Look, it wasn't very convincing last start. So I think for it to have any chance, it's going to need some cover from barrier number 3. I think it's going to probably land behind the likes of Super Bright on its inside. I think Rupertar will come across, and a horse like Sonara as well. So I think you're going to find it fall back potentially on the rail. Not the place I want to be when the rail's out 8 metres. So 360, it's got talent. It's got the ability to be able to win a race like this. I don't know if it's going to play out exactly like J-Mac would like, but who am I to challenge J-Mac? Rupertar, I mentioned Worm, and I mentioned it in the start. I actually had this on top, and I'll tell you why I've moved it to second. The main reason is it hasn't actually won over 1,100 metres, out to 1,300, and deeper into its preparation, I haven't liked how it's actually gone this deep in preparations previously. Look, I've got the on-top racer. It's the closest running benchmark out of any of these. Its last start up on the Gold Coast, look, it wasn't bad. It wasn't in the best part of the track, and I think it ran home for 5th. It was fairly solid. So, look, I think that was a decent run. And where it's going to sit here is going to be solid as well. As I said, it's going to jump from barrier number 4. It'll probably have Sonara cross over it. It'll sit one back on the fence, which is a solid place, especially for a horse that is getting out to 1,300 metres. So if you can get that toe into the race, definitely a chance. Definitely a chance because, again, top-rated horse, I just have a question mark over the 1,300 metres. Well, it's actually left me with some value. Chris Waller, third up. Fear naught. So look, mate, the last start sat 5th, and I expected to do something similar here. Hopefully it sits a little bit closer. So from barrier number 5, again, I think it's going to get crossed by 2 horses, but it's got the chance to sit 1-on-1. And if it can do that, I think it's a really solid chance of being in the finish here. And at $12, I want to be having a piece of it, because this is the horse I expect to have the most upside. Chris Waller, third up, will have it set for this race. And I'd much rather be with Fear Not than Pretty Wild at 360. Both from the Waller stables. Nash on board Fear Not, and J Mac on board Pretty Wild. And Worm, that is why I've got Fear Not on top at $12 for an each way play.
Yeah, don't mind it, mate. Yeah, I'm with you with Fear Not. Definitely at the odds. They are stupid odds to be getting at around the $13, because when I was doing the race and my thoughts, I'm not the biggest Sydney guru, so it's hard to dissect these races for me, not knowing the pool of horses they're in. But I was with Super Bright when I first looked, because it has a 2 kilo swing on Fear Not. But when they met at Canterbury, it was New Year's Day. Super Bright was struck interference at the start, wide throughout, and Fear Not was just taken back from the wide barrier. And early in its prep, they'll probably roll a little bit forward with Nash on. He's a smart cookie. Super Bright, I reckon, will kick up from one and lead. If they don't, I don't think they can win. The only chance they have a chance of winning is leading. So I'm with you with Fear Not, most definitely. Interesting that what's her name? Aravine changes stable. Caroline Jennings out. Michael Wayne, John Hawkes in. So you've got to watch this horse. Keep it in your sights. Not saying it's going to win, but sometimes a stable change can really boost this horse. And he won some nice races in Melbourne last year. So yeah, that's me for that race.
Nice. Look, just quickly on Super Bright, I agree. If it doesn't push up from parity number 1, no chance. I've probably got it sitting. Pardon me, I've probably got it sitting 2 back on the fence. And again, that's why I probably don't like it here. But you're right. If it does lead, does have a chance. I think it'll probably get run down over the last 100, 150 though.
And the best thing about race 5 is we've got 4 races to check it out to see what the track is definitely doing.
Absolutely. But hopefully we find a little bit of value up in Sydney in race number 5 with Fear Not.
Yeah, most definitely. Sorry, I was just watching a dog race at Dapto.
Did we win?
Yes, it did win.
Good. The community will be very happy.
Community's going to about light up if anyone's on it. I was. So thank you very much. $3. Anyway, we will move to race 9, Sandown. I'm going to preview this. The odds. Open race this. $4.60 the field here. So you see, $4.60 favourite. St. Lawrence, $4.80. River Plate, $5.60. Glory Days, $7. And then you can have $15 the rest of 3 and 4 pence, San Brazino, Hasselhoff, Tia Moore, and the rest. Really open way to finish the last, but bit of speed out wide, especially from St. Lawrence and Comanche Brace. And if the inside drawn horses in River Plate, We Take Manhattan and Glory Days can take some really good sit and good spots from the inside draws. But also meaning this is a 1,700 metre race, so there's a long, long straight along that back to get to the first corner. So don't be worried where barriers are here. You will find a spot. Yes, you could be 3 wide, but you don't have to rush to get to a spot. You just take your time, and I like these races because smart jockeys make smart decisions. In saying that, I'm really keen to get involved here on number 1, Glory Days. Go and watch its last start. Matty, go and watch it while you listen to this, because I reckon you're going to jump on board here. And I'm going to make it a late contender for the pineapple. See if I can swing it on you. Go and watch its last start. It was last and the widest runner. And when they straightened up, it looked like it was just going to go through the motions and drop right out. But it wasn't until the last 50 to go and under barely no riding, because the jockey was trying to to get the horse to stop it laying in and trying to get control of the horse. Had the whip in the left hand, which looked fine to me. And he just wanted to take control of the jockey, the horse. And in saying that, this horse went 11.64 for its last 200. First up, tells me the horse has some talent. Last prep was running in Epsom Derbies and Irish Derbies. Yes, beaten a long way, but I think this horse has the talent. Plus, last start at the Warrnambool, most of the day, most of the winners were coming from top 3 in running. And to make ground on a day like that is something I like to see. Don't worry about last start. He half-stepped slow, but then was squeezed out to the back. Barrier 3, Amzara on board. It's perfect to be getting involved at around the $7 mark. I suggest we get involved now because this is owned by one of the micro shares syndicates. They will come for this because there's about 14,000 owners in this. So punters, if you're going to follow me in, take the price now, half your stake now, and then just go again later because I think it could start $4.80 with all these micro shares in it. But yeah, very, very keen to get here. St. Lawrence, I know he's undefeated. I'm worried it might have to go a tempo that it's never seen before. It's always found the front on very soft tempos. That's not happening on Saturday. Yes, Johnny gets off ours from this to this, but I feel he's only doing this because he's getting along with the owners. He's reading Itotsu, Yonts for these owners. So I think he knows where his bread is buttered, and he's just trying to keep the owners happy and for the autumn. Must respect the SPs on this horse, nice and short, but I think its undefeated streak ends on Saturday. Number 3, Two or More, was unlucky first up for Waller and should have finished a lot closer second up. And I think this horse wants 3,000 metres, but was unlucky last start, and you must respect. Matty.
Just while you were talking us through that, I did watch Glory Days, and you're not wrong. Johnny Allen was holding on for dear life, and the horse was going hammer.
Yep.
Across the last 50 metres. So interesting watch, that one. Not sure about the jockeys changing over with Zara. Zara's ridden both of these horses. Sorry, Zara's ridden, I should say, St. Lawrence before. So, yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that. The only question about Glory Days is 8 career starts and it's won a maiden.
Yep.
Also raced in group racing.
Yep.
Hasn't placed. Did place in a group 3, I should say. But yeah, look, that last start was fearsome.
Yes. You got to. I know he's got beaten a long way in Epsom and Irish Derbies, but a lot of horses have done that from previous years and come over and been really competitive. I loved his maiden win. His Irish Derby trial was good. So I think he's just a way better horse. He's benchmarked 78. He's way better than that. A lot of these horses are in their grade, and I'm looking for the most progressive horse, and I think this might be it if all goes to plan.
Yeah, no, don't disagree with that. I can definitely see how you found it. You know what I do like is it's going to have the long straight. So even if it does decide to rear in or out, it's going to have a little bit of time for Mark Zara to straighten it up.
Yep.
Okay, nice way to end the day. We'll definitely be included in the quiz.
Yeah, so definitely back it now, guys, because, there's going to be a stage where these micro share guys will get involved. I've seen it on previous horses that the syndicate owns. Great syndicate to get involved if you are. Look them up. They're doing great things for racing. But, they will be told to have a bet, I reckon, and this could start a lot shorter.
It was 3:10 last start, so...
Yeah. 3:10 in the same race. Okay, it's a little bit harder, but I think if Glory Days sat a bit closer, it wins at Warrnambool.
Nice find.
WhatsApp, guys, and subscribe to our channel. Please get in contact with myself or Matt if you want to join the community on WhatsApp. You can email me. I'll put the email down the bottom of this screen. Hit me up if you want to join, or DM one of us on Twitter or Instagram, wherever you want. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get the episodes as they drop. The audio for the podcast on the Spotify platform will come out a lot earlier than the video. We are now on TikTok, guys. I'm putting free tips up on TikTok with some questionable music with it. So please find us on there and give us a follow. And yeah, DM if you want to get involved.
So what the community has been very active on the greyhounds throughout the week, which has been quite entertaining.
Yes, it's good. It's people are sharing their thoughts. A lot of people are getting involved now. As we say, it's not just our community, it's everyone's community, and we're just sharing the love of winners, win, lose, or draw. And
how did you end up for January?
January was really good, mate. I think we ended up with 23 units profit. It's just good to reward people that stuck fat during a real shit 2022. Yep. I've said it previously. If you stick fat with any tipster, any punter, you're going to get rewarded eventually after some dark times.
Yeah, and to be very clear in terms of that 25 odd units that you're up for January, generally speaking, your bets are 1 to 2 to 3 units. You don't generally go over that. So that's an exceptional effort. You're kind of looking at a good almost 12 to 14 winners for the month.
Ahead. Yes. I think we had 30 odd bets for 14 winners for the month.
Yeah, that's a cracking result.
I'm just going to try and bring it up if it can let me, but it probably won't. Where is it? Here we go. Need a bit of music. Yeah. So we had, 52 bets for 24 wins.
There you go.
So we struck pretty well. And as you said, I'm a 1 to 2 to 3 unit punter. Yes, we do have 4 to 5 units, but they're dead set got to be morals for me to be doing that. You just got to strike when you're hot. And yeah, it was a hot month. And we've started well in February. We're up 2 and a bit units. So pushing into Sandown, I'm going to be, if I get a hold of this track early, we're going to be really betting up, and I think we're going to be in for a good day. Around the grounds, Matty, where are we going before we start? Did you jag the quaddie last week in Sydney?
It was the first quaddie we've actually had on the show, and mate, we did jag it. It was one of my only losers for the day, though. I think we had 144 combinations, and it paid about $90.
Yep, but we were saying you could have taken Spacewalk one out. So I know there was a few people in the community who took alternative quaddies and got it with nice collects with a profit. It doesn't matter if we lost on it, but we were pushing other ways to play the quaddie. So
we pushed a good. I think there was 144 combinations. You could have played it with about 40 combinations and still got it. So again, you're only doubling your money, which isn't what you want to be doing on a quaddie. But those quaddie leagues we were quite confident on, and Spacewalk, Maria Mia, Nicoletta Vito was a great run in that as well for third, which Bold Mac and think about it. So look, it didn't pay exceptionally well, but we're very confident about that quaddie.
Yeah. So where are we having a quaddie this week? Tassie or?
No, it's not Australia Day. So I didn't have time to review all 4 races, and even if I did, I wouldn't be recommending a quaddie up in Sydney with the amount of horses that are resuming.
Yeah. Okay. So where are we going? Nowhere.
Around the grounds, we will go to Sydney, but we're going to go to the other end of the card. We might be having an early quaddie.
Right, let's go.
All right, mate. We're going to go to race number 1. Now, this is a horse that I backed in its first start on Cox Plate Day, and since then I've been keeping a very close eye on it. Mexico. It lost to Arkansas Kid and then was solid behind Barber. And we know Barber had an exceptional last campaign, trialled well, and I'm very happy to be on Mexico at around about 420. You get about 450 on it. And Worm, got a question for you. Have you got the field?
Yep.
Who's favourite?
The favourite is the stablemate Madria Sunrise. Oh, no,
Madria
sorry.
Sunrise?
No. The favourite is Silicon or Silicon, the Gay Waterhouse. But second favourite, Madria Sunrise.
Okay, so the stablemate.
Yes.
Who's well in the market at around about $3.
Yep.
Who rode that in the trial?
Brett Preble rode the Madria Sunrise.
Okay, and who's he riding the race?
He's riding Mexico.
Okay, just telling the story.
Yeah.
So we will be with Mexico. Look, what did you think of the Gay Waterhouse trial, the favourite?
Yeah, I dived heavily into this race and, won both of them. They were okay, but I am no way taking the $2.90 that's on offer.
Okay, so we'll start the day with Mexico in Sydney. Then we're going to jump to the second last race, race number 9. Now, this is one that raced last week, Wineglass Bay. Now, this is my best each way bet of the day. It's going to improve significantly, stepping up to the 1,800 metres. And I expect it to run a really, really solid race here. Now, I do know for a fact that James McDonald isn't too happy to be riding Kettle Hill over Wineglass Bay.
Yes.
If you've got the market there,
Yep.
If you've got the market there, what's Kettle Hill paying?
Kettle Hill's paying $4.20 and Wineglass Bay is $9.
Okay. Yes, J-Mac, he made his feelings very well known that he would prefer to be on Wineglass Bay that had already made commitments to Kettle Hill.
Yeah.
So I'm quite comfortable to be having a 1 by 4 unit play on Wineglass Bay.
Yep. I saw that same video before we started, and that was interesting.
Yes.
It was like Uncle Chris just telling him, "Hey, boy, you listen here, you're not riding it."
Well, he did say, "Well, mate, you've already made your commitments."
Yeah.
So, to be fair to J-Mac, he probably didn't think that Wineglass Bay would be backing up the week after.
Correct. And I think 54 kilos is a big issue for J-Mac, but that is $9. Wow, so
that will do us for around the ground. So, yeah.
I'm
interesting day up in Sydney.
No, it is, mate. It's a watch and learn, definitely, especially good racing up there. My favourite, Solcombe, resumes, so I'll be keeping one big eye on him. If he is anywhere near fit, I could be having a nice little bet on him just because I love the horse.
And it's not a bad play, though. Over 1,600 metres. It won the Queen Elizabeth over the spring. Look, there's not much depth to that race.
No depth. He wouldn't have lost much fitness. He would have trained on through that. So be interesting to see how the market's already on the drift with him. So keep an eye on that. Wineglass Bay, totally agree, mate. I liked him second up, but I don't touch Wallace second up, so I couldn't back him. But on the 7-day backup, that is hello boys sort of action. That one. I've only got one this week. I'm staying away from Moonee Valley just because of the weather. I don't like Moonee Valley wet track. It can be very dangerous to be punting on. So we'll stay away from that. Werribee will stay away. So we'll go to Sandown, hoping for a drier track. We'll go to race 8. Going to be with number 4, Detonator Jack. Even though it got rolled at $1.50 last start, I thought the run was good, considering they went 13.48 to 11.88 to then 10.88 from the 1,000 to the 400. I'll read it again. 13.48 at the 1,000 to the 8, 11.88. That's 12 lengths quicker from the 8 to the 6, and then another 6 lengths quicker from the 6 to the 4. It used up all its gas going around the corner and straightening up. Hard to win races using all your energy from the 1,000 to the 400 so quickly like that. Did well to only go down by 0.8. That won't be happening on Saturday. They'll go a nicer tempo. He'll be able to drift into the race. Yes, he's going to be out the wide and back, but he should be very hard to beat. That is race 8, number 4, Detonator Jack. Multi this week, Matty. Last week, yep, you did well. Yep, you did well. You got 3 out of 3 in Sydney, smashed it out of the park.
Yours came second, so the place multi got up.
No, we officially went the win, but if you go past previous podcast, I did say I wouldn't talk you out of the place. It's a game of inches, and that's what just happened to us. $22 multi goes missing. Not the jockey's fault, Luna Cat. Just go and watch the race. He did everything right, and the winner just,
Turn the tables. Turn the tables on Luna Cat, did Danny Sandasi.
And I texted you straight after the race and said, we know how this multi ends. And God friggin' damn it, we knew how it ended. And yep, I waited for your text to come through going, we got the multi, yeah? No.
We knew how it ended. Spacewalk won, Bold Mac won, and Nicoletta Vita came third.
Hey, I did say we would return with a 3 out of 4 multi. And look, you can't say I didn't lie. So
where are we going this week?
We're going this week. I'm going to chuck in Benedetta to win, race 4. Race 9, we're going to, no win. Glory Days, we're going to chuck in the place because it's $2 a place. That's crazy.
I like it.
And Matty, what are you chucking in?
We've been through both of these. So Wine Glass Bay in race number 9, and at the top of the card, Mexico for a place, currently paying $2.20, but because there's only 7 starters, it needs to be top 2.
Yeah, that's fine. It will be winning, so we'll just take the extra insurance. That's good by me. $34. I really hope it's not 3 out of 4 this week, and it's 4 out of 4. And I think that's a very good multi there. So race 4, Benedetta Sandown. Race 9, Glory Days, the place, Sandown. Randwick race 1, Mexico, the place, and Wine Glass Bay, race 9, place. $34 would be different in other corporates. As we said, pineapple of the week, I'm handing it over to you, Matty. Mine went like an absolute busted after having a dream run, went horrible. So, Matty, I'm happy to hand over this week. I've got full confidence. Where are we going?
Maybe you could just tell the listeners, how long did it take for me to decide on a pineapple?
We sat, normally pre-production takes 5-10 minutes. I think we just hit an hour of you just sitting there of Silent of the Lambs sort of style. Didn't speak for a while. I thought we had internet connection problems. But no, you were just sitting there, just waiting for me to go, I'll take it. I was like, no, I'm not doing it.
I went through the Sydney card 3 or 4 times, and honestly, we almost ended up on Mexico. Very, very close. But we're actually heading further north, and we're going to go up to Eagle Farm.
Cool.
And race number 2.
Yep.
Now, military gambler. It's been up since October.
Yep.
Now, there's a horse in there that's got a weight advantage on it after it lost to it last start. And it's third up over 2,200 metres from the Waller camp. Okay. Head of state, currently paying $2.70.
Okay.
So we will be with Head of State at $2.70 for the pineapple this week, Worm. As I mentioned, third up for Waller, over 2,200 metres. This horse will be ready to roll. Military Gambler will be the danger. However, it's been up since October. It's run pretty much every second week since October. So I can't steer you anywhere near it. And this time round, Head of State does have I think 2.5 kilo advantage.
Yeah. Wow. New areas. I don't think we've gone to Eagle Farm before for a pineapple.
No, mate, we haven't, but a little bit of uncertainty around the truck at Sandown.
Yep.
And a lot of horses resuming in Sydney. So I I'm not too keen to play any of the horses resuming, and not too keen on taking on the Sandown track. So we'll head up to Eagle Farm, and all we need to do is cross the line.
Yeah, no, I like it. So we'll kick things off at 2:13 at Eagle Farm, race 2, number 1, Head of State. That's the end of the show, guys. So please rate it, like us, whatever you need to do to keep us going. Any last thoughts, Matty?
Look, a really interesting day, especially up in Sydney with these horses resuming. I think might be having a conversation around a couple of horses to include in the portfolio next week.
Yeah, definitely. It's heating up. And C4, as we said, next week, Sydney will probably have a bumper card as well. So we'll be back next week previewing the big races and the big topics. Hopefully you fill your pockets up this weekend. More importantly, we hope we fill your pockets up. We'll be back next week and we'll sign out with our favourite man. Have a good weekend and gamble responsibly. Thank you all.
I'm not a good person, but it just goes to show that good things do happen to bad people. So anyone out there who's up against the wall, fucking stick to it. Every cent you got, your rent, your electricity bill, if you're going to buy your missus a ring, don't fucking do it. Keep punting. Keep fucking punting.